All right. So this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I don't do videos like this. Obviously, you know me. I do gaming videos. I do news on on games that are coming out, and that's what I do. But right now, well, actually, tomorrow there's probably going to be a video going out because tomorrow is the Capcom Spotlight. I don't think I'm going to be able to react to it. However, I will react to any RE4 remake trailers they drop that are new because, well, there's a rumor, and I'm going to be honest, I'm 100% sure that the RE4 remake demo will drop tomorrow after the Capcom Spotlight. So when that happens, I will play the demo and give my review on it. I don't. That will probably be out Friday because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the demo done, not nerd out a lot, and then have to record a video after that. So bear with me here. But today we're going to keep it more low key and we're going to be doing something different. I love rap music. Rap music saved me as a child, or I should say not as a child, but as a teenager and growing up. In my late like kid years when I was like not like 7 through 10, I was listening to rap music, and it saved me. It's crazy, but today we're gonna be looking at my top 10 favorite rappers of all time. Now, this is going to be a bit different from anybody's lists. I guarantee the first two artists that you see are everybody. Like, if you know anybody who listens to rap, then the first two rappers are the two rappers that everybody puts in their top five. So you bear with me here, but yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. And if you guys enjoy, please like and subscribe to the channel. That would be amazing. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. And just remember, this is my opinion. This is my list. So if you have a problem with it, that sucks. And, you got to deal with it. But my opinion, my list, here we go. This is a little bit different from anybody's list. Just a little bit. Not too much different, but it's a little bit different. So we're going to start things off with number 1. And we're going to go from number 1 to number 10. I was thinking I should go to number 10, number 1. I was like, you know what? We'll forget about it. We're just going to be going from number 1 to number 10. So my number 1 favorite rapper of all time is Tupac. Oh, wait. Oh. Okay, there we go. Tupac. I fucked that up. Anyways, Tupac Shakur is my favorite rapper of all time, and I guarantee you, the majority of people who listen to rap will say that Tupac is in their at least top 5. At least top 5. If not, it's their favorite of all time. Tupac, I mean, he was such an influence on hip hop back in the 90s, and his influence on hip hop kind of made hip hop what it is today, which I mean, it's kind of crazy how it is today, but basically up until the 2000s, up until late 2010s, Tupac, influenced that kind of era of rap music. Obviously, you have the 2010s to nowadays, which is, I'm going to be honest with you, the worst rap music I've ever heard, like Lil Baby and I don't know, Lil Uzi Vert. I don't get it. I don't like them, but Tupac is not one of the rappers that I do not like because he is so goddamn good at what he did. And when he was alive, he put out some of the best music you'd ever hear in your life. And the storytelling, like what I love about Tupac is he had the ability to storytell in his music, but at the same time he was talking about monies. He was talking about money, hoes, all that shit. And that's what he was doing. And honestly, you can't blame him. And now, with you look back on his music, you kind of just you wished he was alive right now, but Tupac is definitely my favorite rapper of all time. But next up, of course, it's a toss-up between who's better, Tupac or Biggie Smalls. Um, for me, I like Tupac better, but again, if you want to have you could have your opinion. For me, my opinion, I think Tupac is better. Not by much, I'll tell you that. Not by much, but I think he's better than Notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie Smalls. But again, Biggie Smalls, his influence on rap and hip hop back in the day, to where who he influenced nowadays is incredible. And again, his ability to storytell in his music is insanely good, and his flow, his beat choice, and like he can't miss, you know. Um, but I think here's why I think that Tupac is better than Bi the I'm blanking here. Here's why I think Tupac is better than Notorious B.I.G. because I think Biggie was really good, but Tupac was like really good. If you know what I mean. Basically, Tupac, his absolute, and again with that whole hit 'em up diss track, that right there was just like, all right, you know what? Nah, Tupac is better. Not by much. Again, not by much. That song don't exist. I'm gonna be honest. Biggie might be favorite rapper of all time, but because of hit 'em up and because of how hard and how insanely, like, just how insane he went in on Biggie was incredible, and he killed it. I'm gonna be honest. Um, but yeah, I think Notorious B.I.G. is my number two on my list. But we move on to number three, and I think I mean I grew up listening to this artist, this rapper who's coming up next year. He, I mean, it's if he's not in your top 10 at least, maybe I don't know what you're doing, because he influenced. He was one of the first, and I guess I should say he was like he influenced so much in the rap scene in the 90s, and that is Ice Cube. Damn, that's off center, but I don't care. But Ice Cube, he started his whole rap career in the 80s with NWA, and that kind of influenced the rappers that you saw in the 90s. That's Ice Cube and NWA, Eazy-E, Dr. Dre. They influenced um, they influenced the 90s hip hop era, but I love Ice Cube. Ice Cube is incredible. His beat choice, his flow is insane. Again, with his diss track against NWA with No Vaseline is like kind of like just the how do I say this? It is an example of why you should not diss your songwriter for your own group, because that's what Ice Cube was. He was the songwriter. He didn't write everything for NWA. He wrote most of it though. Like most of the music lyrics that you listened from NWA were written from Ice Cube. And then obviously NWA dissed him, and then he had to clap back with another diss, and he's like, I'm gonna destroy y'all, which he did. Probably one of the best diss tracks ever in hip hop history. Um, but yeah, I'd say 100% Ice Cube is my number three favorite rapper of all time. Hands down, it's not even close. So here we go. Coming up next is a rapper that. All right, this is the first rapper that's not from the 90s hip hop era. This is a rapper from the 2010s era. From 2010. From 2010 to present, he started his career in the early 2010s, and he's still making music today. Next up, it might be a little shock to some of you. I don't know. I don't know, because I know most people. I've seen videos and I've seen lists of other people's rap lists, and I never see this rapper in their top 5 or even top 10. So this is probably different from a lot of people, but my number 4 favorite rapper of all time is Logic. That might, again, that might be a shock to a lot of you, but let me tell you why. Logic does not miss. Let me tell you, if you have ever heard a Logic song, listen to any Logic song, just go randomly, pick any Logic song, he doesn't miss the beat. The beat choice that he makes doesn't miss ever. Even some of his worst songs and some of his worst albums he's ever made, the beats still go hard. The beats still are there, and he doesn't miss. Like, he doesn't miss at all. But the reason he's my number 4 as well is because Logic in his early career, when he was making Young Broken Infamous, Young Sinatra, Undeniable, and Welcome to Forever, those albums were some of the best music I have ever listened to in my life. Because, again, the beat choice, his flow, and what I loved about the song choices they made, a lot of them were samples, but most of them, what he did is he took you back to hip hop in the 90s. Like, he took you back to the sound of hip hop, of what hip hop sounded like in the 90s, with like Tupac, Ice Cube, Biggie, Eazy-E. He took you back to that, and like especially Nas, like he's a lot of, you listen to some of his songs, his flow and his sound, the sound of his voice is kind of influenced on Nas's 90s and early 2000s work. So that is what I love about Logic, and I cannot wait to go see him, because this June I will be going to his concert for his College Park album tour, which I mean, if you haven't listened to Logic's past 2 albums, they're incredible. They are Vinyl Days and College Park. They're probably some of the best work he's ever done in his career ever. If you've never listened to Logic, or you never heard of him, go listen to him. Especially go listen to his early work. They're not on Spotify, unfortunately, but go listen to it on YouTube, because his shit goes hard. And that's my number 4 favorite artist of all time. Next up, we move on to my number 5. So we're finishing off the top 5 with a strong one, I think. And this might be controversial, because Logic over this next artist, it's questionable for a lot of people. But for me personally, I haven't been listening to this. I listen to Logic a lot more than I do this next artist. But I still think this next artist is incredible, and I've been listening to him for years, so there's no hate. My number 5 favorite rap artist of all time is Eminem. I know, controversial. Logic over Eminem, but again, my opinion, deal with it. Eminem is probably the most lyrical rapper ever to be heard on the mic. Like, if you hear him, obviously a lot of people, many people will agree that Logic is probably the most lyrical rapper that has ever spoken and ever rapped on a song. Let me tell you why Eminem is not over Logic. I've been listening to Logic longer. I started listening to Logic back I think the first time I heard Logic was the Call of Duty days. If you ever if you were ever around in the Call of Duty days back in 2012 with FaZe Clan and everything, that's why I first heard Logic. So it's been a long time. With Eminem, it's been a bit less. It's been since like 2015 with Eminem, but I'll say this: his early work, best work he's ever done, the Marshall Mathers LP, the Eminem Show, the Shady LP, but his new work, Revival, his new albums that have come out, I'm not sure how I feel about them, and that's kind of the reason why he's over or below Logic, is because his past few albums over the last like 8 years have been not good. They haven't been his best work, and they're just not, they're not good. So that's the reason why. With Logic, at least, with Logic's last two albums, he has put out some of his best work he's ever put out ever. And I mean, Logic has a lot of shit that has gone out on the internet, so it's insane. But with Eminem, it's not like that. So he's number 5. I'm gonna hurry this up. I think I had to really talk about those top 5, but now I'm just gonna kind of not breeze, but I'm just gonna briefly talk about these next 5. Which number 6 is Eazy-E, probably the most gangster rapper that has ever in hip hop history. He's probably even more gangster than Tupac, because Eazy-E, he didn't care. Like, Tupac didn't care, but Eazy-E, I remember one clip of him having like curls in his hair and doing an interview and shit talking a bunch of rappers. It was the funniest thing and also the most gangster thing I've ever seen in my life. So Eazy-E, probably the most gangster rapper of all time. But the reason he's number 6 and not top 5 is because I think of the amount of work he's put out. Obviously, he died young age, and he didn't have long to, kind of like Tupac and Biggie, he didn't have long to put out that much. So that's why he's at number 6. But yeah, he's probably the most gangster rapper ever in hip-hop history. But we move on to number 7. And again, if you don't have this next rapper in your top 10, I don't know what you're doing. It's Nas. He is, I mean, it's Nas, man. I mean, it's Nas. You can't argue. Classic albums. His first album he ever put out, The Illmatic, the best album he's ever put out, and probably one of the best albums in hip-hop history, period. So you don't talk to me if you don't have Nas in your top 10. If you don't have Nas in your top 10, I don't know what you're doing. You gotta listen to Nas if you haven't, because he is so good. His flow, I love the thing is, I love 90s hip hop because of the beat choice and also the flow in the 90s hip hop era. It's so good, and I love it. So yeah, Nas, he's number 7, absolutely, not even close. But number 8 might be a little bit different, because here's the thing, I don't see this rapper in a lot of people's top 10s, but I think this next rapper needs to get a lot of credit. He needs to get a lot more credit than he does, because he is so good. He's so goddamn good. We have Tech 9. I first listened to Tech 9 probably, I don't even know, because I mean, my dad used to just blast Tech 9 throughout the house, and when we were in the car, he would just play Tech 9. But I think Tech 9 needs more credit than he gets, because Tech 9 is probably one of the he's not the fastest, but he is one of the fastest rappers of all time. Every song that you hear, he's doing at least one rap. He's at least doing one part fast. Like every single song that he does. I love his classics. I love his old albums. I love his new albums. Like, he's consistent, and he's good at consistency, and he's also good at consistently putting out absolute bangers. So Tech 9 is my number 8 spot on my list. But with number 9, again, I think it goes without saying, if you're just not in your top 10, I don't know what you're doing. We have Lil Wayne. And here's the thing, back then, when I first heard Lil Wayne, I was like, I'm not really into this. But I listened to him over and over. I listened to him over the years, and I've heard him grow as a rapper, and I've heard his songs over the years, and he's so good. He's so good. I don't know what I was thinking when I first heard him. I was like, I'm not feeling this. But nowadays, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this. So Wayne has to be in your top 10. Again, if he's not in your top 10, I don't know what you're doing, because he's like probably one of the best 2000s to 2010s rappers ever to live. So, Lil Wayne, number 9, boom, bada bing, McTing. But we move on to my last pick. Number 10, to finish off the top 10 rappers of all time, my personal opinion, of course, we have Kendrick Lamar. I did not listen to Kendrick Lamar until like 2 years ago. Until about 2 years ago, I never listened to a single Kendrick Lamar song. I've heard of Kendrick Lamar, and I never really got the hype around him. I was like, what is up with Kendrick Lamar? After you listen to his music, though, dude, you got to give him credit. You got to give him award, like the nominees and the awards that he has won are very, very much deserved. But I don't think he's. Here's the thing, because people put him as one of their favorite or their favorite rapper of all time. I think for right now, because of how early his career is, like he hasn't been doing it as long as Ice Cube, and like I think he started in the late 2000s and like early 2010s. So that's when he started his career. And I think it's still early, man. I think we still need to hear more from Kendrick in order for him to even come close to Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. and Ice Cube, for him to be one of the greatest or the greatest rapper of all time. So it's controversial, but that's my number 10. And that is my list. There's no more. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. I mean, again, it's my opinion, my list. If you want to disagree, go ahead and flame me in the comments. I don't care, but it's my list. I don't care. It's my list, and I think honestly I like it. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.